Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with our main topic today in the breakfast show. We're discussing today the restoration work taking place in Egypt, several governorates in Egypt, especially in Cairo. And we are going to focus today on Al Qubba Palace and the restoration work taking place there, especially the granite column that is located in the garden of this palace. To shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to host this morning in the breakfast show our dear guest, Mr. Ahmed Nour, historian and researcher. Good morning, Dr. Nour.
Good morning, Ahmed.
Well, Mr. Nour, concerning the Qubba Palace and its gardens, it's one of the largest and very big palaces in Egypt and in Cairo. Is it the most big palace in Egypt, or we have more palaces with a larger area?
Al Qubba Palace, one of the important palaces in Egypt, constructed by Khedive Ismail from 1867 till 1872. It is one of the biggest palaces in Egypt. We have many palaces in Cairo, in Alexandria, in Luxor, in Aswan, and everywhere in Delta. From the royal
this is the
period, this is the biggest one, and this is the largest one. And the importance of this palace also, that it became like the residence of the king from the period of King Fuad I. The birth of Khedive Tawfiq was in this palace. Khedive Ismail constructed the palace in the same place of the house of his father, Ibrahim Pasha, considered as a famous one, especially the garden of this palace had many stories. The visit of Khrushchev, he said that I want to visit the palace and the garden, and the famous garden of the palace. President Jimmy Carter of United States of America, when he came to Egypt, he said that one of my dreams to see the garden of this palace. We know that maybe the decision to choose the point and when will start the famous war of 6th of October by President Sadat, they said that while he was walking in the garden of this palace also. So important this palace, all the visitors of Egypt nowadays stay in this famous palace. So before 52 and after the revolution of 1952, the palace was so important till nowadays.
Yes, yes. So what makes the Qubba Palace special or unique or different from any other palace in Egypt, away from its area or being the largest?
The importance between all the palaces, like I said, that it was the residence of the king.
King Farouk.
It was from the period of Fuad first, and after that Farouk also, the first choice for him to speak was this palace, Al Qubba Palace. After the revolution of 52, the ceremonial of the funeral of President Nasser started from this palace. It was so important because we receive all our visitors, kings, president from all the world in this palace of Al Qubba.
Yes, so we have now we can see the gates of the Qubba Palace, and the Qubba Palace have huge, very big gates and special. Actually, could you give us an idea about the gates of the palace?
The palace itself seems like a museum. With the garden and also inside the famous halls.
Yes, this is a closer.
This is the entrance and the famous gate and the main one of Al Qubba Palace. The palace itself, they opened in 1872. This period of Khedive Ismail, he constructed more than one palace, because we know that they opened Suez Canal in 1869. So they constructed a main house palace, nowadays like hotel. Marriott, we use like hotel, but the importance of this palace stayed to receive the official visits for our country. So when we speak about Khrushchev from Soviet Union,
yes,
Jimmy Carter, President of United States, our president from Nasser, Sadat, all the president received
yes,
their visitors till nowadays from Al-Qubba Palace. So the importance of this palace also when our president nowadays, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, started and declared after this famous declaration of our president was from this palace, Al-Qubba Palace. So it's so important.
Yes, and this gate also looks over a big square in which a fountain is located in the middle. A big fountain is located in the middle.
The importance not only the gate, but also the garden itself. We had or we have till nowadays many stories about the famous garden of this palace. So when we speak about this famous president, they said that it was a dream. It was a dream to visit this garden of the palace, like Jimmy Carter. President Anwar Sadat also, they mentioned that when he wanted to think about any or to take any important decision while he is must be walking in this famous garden.
Yes.
Important also nowadays or few days ago that they started to make the restoration of this famous column or granite column of
yes,
this.
We'd like to shed light on this granite column that is located in the garden of the Qubba Palace.
Exactly, this column.
Where exactly in the garden? In front of the palace
in a part of the garden, it is maybe they found it in the same place before, because this place of Al-Qubba is a part near to Onu or Ain Shams, the ancient religion capital of Egypt, and the important city from the beginning of the history.
We have a picture for the column.
The column about 8 meters height, and the crown itself about 80 centimeters, which represent the shape of the palm tree. This column may be returned from the period of New Kingdom. So we speak about 3,500 years ago, at least, or 3,400 years ago, from the period of New Kingdom, 18th or 19th dynasty, because we have no inscription, but from the design, from the granite, from the crown, which represent the palm tree, returned to the New Kingdom. They started to make a restoration and to reconstruct again the column, which represent also the pharaonic period. So when we speak or the visit of the palace will continue apart from the pharaonic period is the column, and the part of Islamic and modern period, the period of the dynasty of Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
The crown itself represent a part of the big project of restoration for many monuments to the south and the north of Egypt, and this is a part of this big project of restoration in all the country, and we will see another representation for the restoration inside the Karnak temple, and also the ram-headed statue between Karnak temple and Luxor temple. That will be a big celebration in next months.
Yes. So, Mr. Nour, how do you see the Egyptian leadership keenness on restoring the monuments in Egypt and also artifacts all over Egypt?
It's so important to protect and preserve our monuments. So we have many projects for restoration. Now we are speaking about this famous column of granite in El Coppa Palace. We have a big project also inside
Now we have
the famous
photos
hall.
from the Ram's road.
The ram-headed statues
Yes.
and the Sphinx statues between
Yes.
Luxor Temple and the Karnak Temple, about 3 kilometers between Luxor Temple and Karnak Temple. All the statues represent, some of it represent the head or the ram-headed statue, and the other statue represents the famous shape of Sphinx. So the part besides the Luxor Temple we had before, but they started many years ago to make the first the excavation and then restoration and reconstruction of this ram-headed statue. And this 3 kilometers between Karnak Temple and Luxor Temple, they already finished the project, and the celebration will be first week of November next month, and will be a big celebration. Like we can see a part of this road between Luxor Temple and Karnak Temple. When you see it at night with the lights, is fantastic, and also when we'll open to allow to the visit or to walk between the statues and between Karnak and the Luxor Temple, it is so important to send a message for all the visitor, for all the tourists from all the world to come and to see, because each month and each week we have something new to represent for all the world, and to invite them to come and to see our monuments and our country.
Yes, Mr. Nour, how would these kind of restorations would enrich the culture in Egypt, and also attract or add new touristic destinations on the map of the tourism in Egypt?
Sure that we have many repeaters who came to Egypt before, and when they come they wanted to see a new thing. So when we make excavation and open a tomb or a new place, this will add...
Or restore something that was closed before.
Exactly. So when they restored and opened the Serapeum at Saqqara,
yes,
for example, it added a part in Saqqara itself to visit. When they when we opened the step pyramid of King Zoser to visit from inside at
yes,
Saqqara, many people now they are coming to see the pyramid from inside, because it was allowed before only to visit from outside till we finished the restoration.
Yes.
So when we'll see also the pyramid of Dahshur, the bent
yes,
pyramid of King Snefru at Dahshur, that Ministry of Antiquities opened 2 years ago. The pyramid of Lahon, this is the crown of the granite column in Al Coppa Palace, that they are restoring now in the same place. About 80 centimeters the height of this granite crown of the column represent the shape of the palm tree. We know that they found it, and they are restoring the columns that we are seeing now inside Al Coppa Palace. So the restoration that we have in everywhere, the famous hall inside Karnak Temple, about
yes,
134 pillars or column represent the shape of papyrus, lotus.
Yes, also the columns in the Karnak temple, nowadays it's being restored, and they
exactly,
are returning it to its original
colors.
How,
yes.
How do you see this?
It is interesting when we see the colors. We have the picture now in front of us of
yes,
this column inside the famous hall, the biggest hall between all the ancient temples, the hall of Seti first and his son Ramses II inside Karnak temple. They are restoring, like we are seeing now, to return again for the original colors and the original scenes.
Yes.
We can imagine that after we will finish, and we can see the original colors returned again after the cleaning and the restoration that we had in this famous hall.
Yes,
so we can see
now the picture with the colors.
Yeah,
the
we can see
colors.
the scenes.
This would attract tourists who already visited the El Karnak temple to come back also again to Egypt to see the real colors of the columns in El Karnak temple.
Yes, I sent some of this picture for some friends from Brazil, from Argentina, from Latin America, and they came to Egypt before, and they said exactly like you mentioned, like we like to return again to Egypt to see Karnak temple and to see this scenes with the original colors. They already came to Egypt, but nowadays they wanted to return again to see this new scenes with the original colors, and to see another places, like we mentioned that we opened many other places, like the step pyramid of King Zoser at Saqqara, like the bent pyramid of King Snefru at Dashur, the pyramid of Sesostris or Senusert II at Lahon. So this the tomb of Mihu at Saqqara, tombs in Luxor, this famous excavations that we had, and also the new museums that we opened, more than one museum in last year. So while all the world have COVID-19, we sent a message for all the world that we still digging, we still have excavation, we are opening new museums everywhere. So this is an important message for all the world to come and to visit our country and to say that our country is safe, and you are waiting the inauguration of GEM, or the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Yes, I thank you very much for joining us today in the Breakfast Show. Thank you for your valuable information, Mr. Ahmed Nour, historian and researcher.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you so much. Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program, Breakfast Show. I was accompanied with my colleague, Nermeen Abdurrahman. And I thank you very much. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you very much for watching.